G'day guys, welcome back to In My Shed. I'm BC. Hope that camera's orientated right. I've been running a couple of videos lately on tool and cutter accessories, and I've been gifted quite a bit of gear in a good mate's estate, and I thought I'd run you through what really good quality Swiss accessories, like the brand name of the grinder is Haro, H-A-R-O, made by a bloke called Robert Habib. And it's a very unusual grinder. It's got a fully articulated head, which I think I'll have to sort the electrics out on it. But no, it's a wonderful machine. First up, it does have one quirk. It doesn't have normal wheel flanges. The wheels are held on a sub-arbor in a collet system. So I had to shake my head and look at it a couple of times, but I thought, no, that'll work out reasonably well, especially as I've got 2 or 3 spare hubs come with the machine. Right at the very end, I'll show you a form relief grinding attachment that came with it that is completely different to anything else I've featured before, and it's reasonably easy to copy, so that's a good reason to watch the end. A bit like a Cincinnati number 2, and the wheel guards not quite as heavy. Even a brazed carbide tool. Well, if anybody's got some more, send it to me. I love them. And I've got a few mandrels. There is a collet with the form relief grinder that's 30mm, and I don't know of any tool shank that's 30mm, so I don't know why the hell the collet's that size, but we'll get to that later. Yeah, there's quite a few of these little accessories. Okay, throws these back in the box and I'll bring another one up. It's a bit like a Christmas raffle. And all these boxes just so bloody heavy. It's a good old cast iron. Okay. Here's an internal boring spindle that's designed to mount on the top of the wheel head, and there is a separate cantilevered arm off the back. It's a high-speed spindle that's got the small pulley and the collet chuck for holding, I would say, 6mm abrasive, shanked abrasives. It doesn't look like it's a cartridge that can come out of the casting, so I would say the bearings are just pushed in both ends and then the nuts tightened up, but that's quite a good item to get. In total, I've got 3 internal spindles out of this gifting, including this whopper, and that has what's called a small wheel arbor, designed for taking anything up to 1/2 inch wide grinding wheels. Once again, the high-speed pulley on the back end, and that spindle does come out of the cast iron housing. It's got a Cincinnati number 2 style tool centering device, much higher than the Cincinnati, but same principle, and it's chamfered both ends, one for up underneath the spindle and one for on top. Diamond dresser holder, clamping bit of some kind, sorry, don't know that one yet. And another diamond dresser holder, and that monster that I haven't yet decided what the bloody hell it is. And this is just a touch. Now for another fix. And I'll grow some muscles after this. There's a few knobs and handles off the outside. Nothing special there really. quite nice little collet chuck, and that fits directly into the work head spindle. Sorry, the wheel head spindle. So you can run mounted points or small wheel arbors directly off the wheel head. A few more arbors. Nice little spring-loaded indexing finger. Now, if a machine's been pressed into service for some time, you'll find the tool and cutter operator has to start putting an assemblage of accessories together like this. Little clamping arrangement for the indexer, and inside here is a few more spanners and some washers, etc. So I'll place them back in the box. Now, a lot of these items you can spread around the other grinders. Tool and cutter accessories are quite adaptable from one machine across to another, and that's something I have been doing already. Another wheel arbor, and a lot of old wheels that I don't really trust. I'm sorry. It's nice to be given things, but I'd like to be kept alive. So that's what came in that box. And it keeps on coming. I think all up there's 5 or 6 boxes. This one is a bit of a slow show. I think all I'll rescue out of there is another wheel flange and a cup wheel, and the rest of the bench grinder parts. So yeah, another accessory. This one nearly blew a foofer valve. Many kilos of cast iron in here. You'll get to appreciate the quality now. A couple of centres, where it's like one of the plastic knobs has been, oh, 2 plastic knobs brutalised over life. That's where that clamping piece comes from. These go on to half a dovetail on the top of the table, which is quite common, and that clamping piece I showed earlier is a bit that goes on the back to clamp it onto the table. Here is a real gem. Now, a lot of tool and cutter grinders do have the capacity for small cylindrical grinding work, but they're not always readily adapted to it, and trying to keep your in-feed accurate is very difficult, and long slender work can sometimes be a bit of a pain, but really nice set of steadies to go with this. So yeah, it's been set up to do a multitude of work. I showed the standard work head in my last lot of videos, and it's quite robust, and it has a wheel and a motor for driving it. So I would say you could do reasonable tool and cutter work as long as you used a good indicator to set your feed into the wheel. That would be the big limitation. It's like bloody weights at the gym. Not that I can remember too much of that. This next one I'll bring out piece by piece. It's just too much mass there for me to move. It's a large wheel guard. Plate that's been beveled, and that would be used to supplement something already on the table. That's an extension for the indexing gear. And this is how you prevent a tool and cutter grinder suffering from vibration or chatter. You just make it too damn heavy for the grinding wheel to move. Okay, some control wires running up through what I believe is a swiveling arm that would sit up. You can use this just with the power head or the grinding wheel head mounted on the column, or you can put this universal swivel plate in between the column and the head, and it gives you a 360-degree rotation, 360 that way, and then a tilting head as well. Like, this is universal as you can get. And I suppose this has been made this way to save you having to angle the top table at 45 degrees like you do with the Cincinnati to grind the end of long reamers or really long work, which can be a little bit of a pain. So, a bit more coming. The big finale up next. I'll put these back into one of the crates. That arm I just showed is also graduated in degrees around the base. Okay, here's the third internal spindle, and quite a nice unit. It's on a circular base to rotate, and the other part would be rebaited to take that. Still turns, so it's not completely knackered. 2 new bearings would get that going, but no drive pulley, which is a bit of a shame. Not that I can't make one. And a nice tapered shaft to try and give it a bit of rigidity. And now what you've all been waiting for. The Haro take on a form relief grinding attachment. And that's a solid piece of work. First up, I'll show you the collet assembly, if I can knock it out. That's the collet. 50mm diameter. This particular one is 30mm bore, and it's very, very thin walled. Quite a surprising item actually. I would say it's factory made. It looks too good to be a home jobby, and this is a factory accessory, I'm sure. It's well knurled and it has holes for pin spanners. And this is the operating end, and this is the intriguing part. I don't know what taper it'll have up the back end yet. I haven't got that far, but that'll be the business end, and this will be the tradesman's entrance, shall we say. Okay, it's got a sliding bracket here with a locking knob, clamping bolt, so you can angle this, and this is like a sector cut out of a piece of plate, and you angle it slightly to get a cam ramp, and as you bring that around, the pin climbs that cam and it pulls the spindle back. And when the pin falls off the end of the cam, it drops down that way. Now, this is a little bit of a reverse action to my Royal Oak form relief grinder, but you would be grinding from the heel of the item back up towards the front, and then when you go past the front of the tooth, it drops back in to grind the heel of the next land. Forgot the word. Okay, so it's got holes drilled and tapped into a ring behind the operating handle, and into those holes you screw rods in there. I would like to see little bearings on there, but hey, this thing's probably as old as me. I think it's older. The book's 1947, so it's a fairly ancient item. But yeah, extreme good quality. You're not going to get any chatter out of this. The only thing with really heavy attachments of this sort is if you jam anything into the wheel, it's going to blow up because there's no flex anywhere. But that's fairly easy for you to make at home. It's just a spindle, run through the middle. Plain bearings would do quite well. A little bit of slop is not desirable, but it can be overcome because the spring pressure would be pushing the spindle in one direction. And from what I can see, this is set up for 2, 3 and 4 flute cutters, which covers, you know, a fairly good majority of what you're after. If you try to come the other way, the pin has to climb the end of the cam, and you can run it that way, but it's just a little bit harder to pull it around. Now it's fairly stiff, as I said, to operate. That might be friction against this plate, but I think also could be a belly full of poo inside the attachment itself. Now the item has been milled, I would say, with a cam grinding program, cam grinding geared attachment on a dividing head, which that's going back a hell of a long way to the 1950s, but just a straight piece of pipe, angled slightly, and you could probably cut the piece of pipe at a few degrees to repeat the cam. A very, very simple action to repeat, and man, this thing would only last you 100 years doing cutters. Okay, that's all there is. The machine will be here in a week or two. I just tied the knot yesterday, so we're a little bit tied up at the moment, and we have a fair bit to do next week, but maybe after that it'll be over, and that'll be a good series. That'll take probably a year for me to finish it. Be cleaning up that grinder and getting it operational, finding how all of these accessories go. The electrics are about the same age as me, so I don't trust them, and what I'm thinking of doing is mounting an IP56 electrical control box up on top of the motor if it still lives. If it doesn't, I'll power it with another little motor up there and put a VFD with forward reverse and ramp up on it. So that'll be another project. Please, if you haven't already, like and subscribe, and anything you want to know, just put it down in the comments. I'll have it up for you in the next video. And next video we'll continue on with the zero angle drill grinding talk, and part of it will be a bit of a blackboard look at what angles to expect if you grind the drill properly. And then we'll try and set up a simple Spindexer on the Clarkson Tool & Cutter grinder. And I'm figuring I was going to use my workhead, and I had trouble getting 2 indexing positions to be easy to operate and easy to film, which is something to consider. But I can do it slowly on this. Just start off at 0 and run around to 30 degrees, and that should give me the required relief angle behind the setter. Okay, all the best, and see you next video.